and Rebels and about 501 other Star Wars properties. Give it up for Dee Bradley Baker. She introduced Ahsoka to the world. No big deal. Very big deal. Very big deal. And she designed this jacket that I'm wearing because she is so cool on so many levels. Give it up for Ashley Eckstein. And sure, he did help usher Anakin to the dark side, but he's still so damn lovable. Give it up for Matt Lanter. She brought us Hera, the baddest Twi'lek on the whole block. Give it up for Vanessa Marshall. You get the Rebels chair. We're gonna have to squeeze in here. Get another chair. I'll stand. I don't mind standing. Do you want to join us? And last but not least, you can kill him, but you can never destroy him. He is the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. James Arnold Taylor.
Let's do the hug like we didn't see each other back there. Hey!
Gentlemen.
Hello there.
Hello. Are you just looking to squeeze in? We're all going to do this. Can we do it? Okay. Cool.
Join us on the Snug Ranch.
Well, happy May the 3rd, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we celebrate Star Wars every day. Do you guys know my friends Philly? Know my friends Philly? Philly?
Let's go.
Friends?
Philadelphia. We've had so much fun meeting everyone today. Thank you so much for coming out to meet us. I feel like
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, are you sure you're okay on the floor top?
Yeah.
I
can stand if you guys are.
Here, James.
Good. No, come on. This is,
You're good.
yeah, we're good.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Trying to space mom it up over here.
Well, let's get into it. I mean, all of you guys are so prolific in the space as voice actors and in the Star Wars universe.
So true.
It's so true. But Dee, I don't know if anyone is quite as prolific. I mean, you may be the hardest working actor this side of Anthony Daniels. I mean, does Lucasfilm just like flash the Rebel sign over your house when they need you?
Whenever they send the dropship, I'm there. There's no dropship right now.
I'm going to answer my hardest question first, Dee.
Hit me with a shot.
If you could guess, because I think you're going to have to guess. Maybe you know, but if you were to total up every single one of your characters, and I mean every single one of your characters that's ever had a speaking line in this universe, how many would that be?
17. I've counted it. It's exactly 17.
17. I thought it was more.
7? Well, maybe 17 or 18.
100. 1700.
1700. There we go. And who's your very favorite?
It's a lot of fun to be Daffy Duck.
But it's all really fun. I mean, the shows that we get to do, there's no clunker, there's no clanker or clunker. It's all such fun. It's hard to choose favorites with what we get thrown. It's really great.
So Captain Rex.
Yes, Captain Rex, absolutely. Experience outranks everything.
Give us your favorite Rex moment.
My favorite Rex moment.
There are compilations out there of Rex moments. What is yours?
Let me throw a pivotal one that's probably not thought of very often. It's when, this was early in the Clone Wars, when Rex was injured and was cared for by Cut Lawquane and his family. And that was kind of a pivotal moment, I think, in terms of the style of his soldiery, if you would put it that way, where he learned that just following orders and just doing it by the book is not necessarily always the way to do it. And I think it felt like kind of a shift for his character that I found very interesting.
Ashley, the influence of Ahsoka and how she changed the game, I mean, it cannot be overstated. It was game changing. At what point did you really feel her becoming so impactful? At what point did you really, because at what point did you feel that she was becoming this massive fan favorite that helped change the face of Star Wars?
Oh gosh. I think when it hit me how much Ahsoka means to people, more, than, she's always had my whole heart. And my wish from the beginning was that people would grow to love Ahsoka as much as I love Ahsoka. And, but in the beginning, a lot of people, they didn't even know who she was. And yes, a lot of people thought she was very annoying in the beginning. But after season 5, when she walked away from the Jedi Order and the show was canceled, kind of a seismic shift, I think, happened with Ahsoka. That moment was so impactful. It really had changed lives and saved lives in many cases. I've heard just thousands of stories that I am just so honored that people would share with me. But it was that moment I'll never forget when someone that I didn't know, I hadn't even met yet. I just walked up and they gave me the biggest bear hug and we just sobbed together. He just sobbed and I stood there and cried with him. And he said, Ahsoka saved my life. Ahsoka walking away from the Jedi Order and having the courage to walk away from something that, was toxic or was not good for her, he goes, gave me the strength to walk away from something that ultimately saved his life. And so it was that moment where I realized, okay, she's transcended the screen. She's no longer just this character on the screen. She now lives in all of us. She lives in our hearts and in our minds and in our souls. So that's why I say Ahsoka lives in all of us now.
I love that. I love that.
Matt and James, you guys, I think, accomplished the impossible. You took these characters that were, so iconically portrayed in the past, and just completely made them your own. How would you describe sort of the balance that you guys took in approaching these two roles, and both sort of staying true to the essence of those characters as they were portrayed by Alec and you and Hayden and Jake? Let's not forget Jake. And yes, and staying true to what those guys brought and the sort of echoing of their voices, and also differentiating those performances the way you have.
It was also my hope and dream that you would all embrace the horrible, terrible, evil things that Vader and Anakin did.
I don't know if you fully grasp the question there.
Oh, okay. Anyway, okay, seriously. Yeah, super iconic shoes to step into. And I think that was the goal for Anakin, was to really just expand the character. We heard that he was a hero. We didn't really get to see that in the films. Somebody told me, came to my table and told me something I hadn't heard before, or put this way before. They said, in the films, Anakin is always in chaos mode. And in the Clone Wars, we actually got to live with him in kind of hero mode. that we heard about. So, I've always felt like it's a kind of a collab effort, and it's not like a rebranding of that character. It's just like an expansion of the character on that season of his life. So it was an honor to pick that up and kind of develop that side of him that we didn't really get to see in the films.
What he said.
No, the thing is so it's been about 21, almost 22 years of playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in various forms. Started with the micro series of the Clone Wars, which was just an awesome series, the micro series. And then turned into Clone Wars that we all know and love, and just following, the legendary Ewan McGregor. No pressure at all. You just, I try to pay homage to both Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor and in my Obi-Wan, so hopefully you'll hear a little bit of these aren't the words you're looking for, with I have a bad feeling about this master. Those things, so you combine them, I think of both of them when I do the character, and I just hope for the best with it. Cross your fingers, okay, I hope I get this right. So, I turned into Marty McFly just now, sorry. Oh, wait a second, Doc. You mean to tell me you're Obi-Wan Kenobi? That's right, Marty. Great Scott. Okay, but so anyways, I do my best.
Vanessa, the great Dave Filoni, I remember he called Hera the heart of Rebels, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Tell us about originating this character and what she's meant to you over the years.
Well, first of all, I just want to give it up for the Clone Wars. Pretty severely. We just, please, for the Clone Wars. Bad Batch. I'm serious. And Dee, congratulations to Dee for the Bad Batch and everyone's great work. The thing is, when I met you, actually, the first thing I did was sob about that very moment that you describe as one of the most healing moments for many of us, because when we stand up for ourselves and do what's right, not everyone likes it, but you're in the right place, so thank you for that inspiration. But so I came to Star Wars Rebels as a very deep-cut fan of the Clone Wars, and so I bring all of that heart and all of that comprehension, that reverence, that wanting to celebrate all the work that you guys did and just pray that we live up to any of it, and it was an honor. And most of the cast members, other than Taylor, obviously had never seen Star Wars in his life, which Filoni said was fantastic because he is a Padawan and he knows nothing of the Force. So Freddie was able to literally teach him on a daily basis all about Star Wars. So I am not a mom, but I have a bag of snacks. So if anyone gets low blood sugar during the course of this weekend, you can come see your space mom. So while I don't have any literal children, I have like a million kids, and I don't know if it's an Italian thing, because if someone's hungry, I get nervous. I need everyone to feel good at all times. I mean, we take the light with the dark, but hunger, come see me. Anyway. But whatever that is, I have that nature. What? Yes, I'm right here. Hugs. I'm right here. I love you.
Well, we are going to open it up to the floor in just a minute if you guys want to line up. I'm not terribly aware.
Can I just add to that though? Part of why we love Hera so much is because, not part of, the reason we love Hera so much is because of Vanessa's heart.
Yeah.
Hera is Vanessa. And so, your heart is what gave life to that character. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
I love the love here. These are long lines, so make sure these are all yes or no questions, please.
Real quick before we get to these, because I love asking voice actors this, but you guys are workshopping these characters, and I know you have to think back. So if you can't remember, maybe you can make it up. You would never know. Can any of you share like the rejected version of the voice that you first workshopped with your character that never made air?
Please, Ashley, do Bjork. Please do Bjork. Bjork is so good.
Well, the thing is Dave Filoni originally wanted not good. Enough with that. So Dave Filoni originally wanted Ahsoka to have an Icelandic accent, and he wanted her to sound like Bjork. So I can't do it. I can't do it. How would she sound? You put a golf ball in the back of your throat and say things in different registers, and then it sounds like you don't know where you're from.
Oh, we're doing shit.
Yeah, okay.
Shit's Creek, right?
No, well, I'm auditioned for things that say that they want Bjork, and that's all I ever do, is just put a golf ball in the back of my throat and then just sing everything.
Have you gotten those jobs?
Never, not one. No, but I did get to play Daphne's cousin from some unknown European origin, and I used that for Daphne's cousin. So if you need sort of an unknown, look, it's not like they sit there and go, well, that's not Icelandic.
You know,
actually.
Yeah, so that's what Dave did. So that's what happened. How does he know what an Icelandic accent sounds like? He didn't. So that's how I got the part. I learned a pure Icelandic accent,
Which is more like Irish. And when I went in to the callback, Dave Filoni stopped me after one line, and he was like, no, can you make it sound a bit more Icelandic? And I was so frustrated because I did master Icelandic, and I said, I'm sorry, but I am doing Icelandic. I don't know what you want. And that's what got me the part. But it turns out he wanted like just a generic European accent that sounded like Bjork. Well, yeah, I got a call on my way to the first recording, and I was told, hey, by the way, you may need to do the whole script with a French accent, so just be ready to do it as a French accent. And I was like, wait, I'm literally parking right now. What? And they said they did not know if they wanted her to be from Ralph and all that. Luckily, I speak French, so I was able to be like, sure, whatever, do you need to be, you know. And then luckily he was like, no, I don't think so.
Hey, speaking of French, and then changing it, Dee, you were on a little show called American Dad. They wanted a French accent, and you said,
9. I said 9, you will get no French accent from me. You're going to get a German accent from me, and that is all you get. And if you don't like that, then I will go away, and you will never pay me millions of dollars.
how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, the original audition for Klaus and American Dad was for a French fish. It was written as a French fish, and I thought my funnier version would be a German fish. I thought the funniest I can make this is if I make this German, so I did, and they thankfully went for that, and I was very, very lucky that they did. I was very.
So here's what we've learned. You both said no to the accents and got the jobs. Vanessa is putting golf balls in her throat and doing the right thing and not getting the job. So that's the lesson.
There you go.
Yeah, the lesson is really as a voice actor, your job is not to be obedient, but to come with good ideas. And often they say they want something, but it's not what they want. Or it's a guess, and they really don't quite know yet exactly. Or you've got an idea that's actually better than that. And if you can convince them of it, then great. So the job is not one merely of being obedient. I mean, you want to give them what they say they want and give it a try. But if you've got a better idea, you should always put that out there, always. And sometimes they'll go with it.
Be like Anakin.
Be like Anakin.
Oh my.
All right, let's open it up to the floor. We're going over here first. Why not? Hi.
Good evening, fellow Star Wars devotees. Love seeing the cast, love the series. I have a question for Mr. Baker. Captain Rex, I felt like was a well-respected drill sergeant type. How did you go about kind of portraying that side of him when people want to follow his command?
Well, yeah, I mean, Rex started out as much more by the book and kind of formal. And then, like I said, since Cut LaPlane, I think he loosened up and became more improvisational, which I think he also got from Anakin as well. And for the most part, that journey, that's guided by the writing and by kind of what they're moving for. Not necessarily what I am. I think we all, once you're cast in a role, you start to flavor it in your own way. That's going to be your own thing, and to some degree, you will, with sometimes with an improvisation that you throw out there, but you'll start to bend the role a certain way, and the writers may go with that.
Yeah, all right, so you kind of had momentum with kind of, he was like approaching one manner, and then he went about it in a different manner, and that's what was expected as the series went.
ChatGPT could have not summarized that any better, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I thank you.
Great question. All right, I think we'll alternate. That seems fair.
Hi.
Multipass.
Multipass. I don't have it on me right now.
Okay.
I love the family themes with both the Clone Wars and Rebels. That's my other question. I have a stupid question. Who do you think committed more war crimes? Anakin Skywalker or Chopper?
Close. It's
I mean,
close.
it was Vader. It was Vader, not Anakin.
Always blame the droid.
Yeah, it's probably Chopper's fault.
Yes. I blame his voice. The voice of John.
Right here.
Hello. So my question would be, what are some of your tips for keeping up a character voice for a long duration without your regular voice speaking through?
Wow. Look at you, stumped us all.
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
You know, the thing is, for myself, if I'm doing a character, which most of my work is rarely my own voice, I just picture that person in my head. And so if I'm picturing Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon, then I just picture him and what he would say and how he would be.
Or if I'm picturing Obi-Wan Kenobi, oh, Jedi Master Plo Koon, yes, we gotta give some love to Plo Koon.
I picture them in my head and how they would say it all rather than how James would say it. Dee, I don't know, are you the same? Do you just picture it?
Yeah, it's really, for me, the continuity of character comes down to specificity of imagination. And I think the clearer that you see the character and feel the tone of that character, then the easier it is to maintain that throughout the story, whether you're just doing that voice or jumping over into others. If that character feels like a solid person that you know, then you can just jump right into him or in.
Vanessa, yeah, you think the same?
Well, there are some characters that there are certain sentences that if I'm going from job to job to job, I played Invictus in Final Space, and that voice was like this. So it's kind of easy to remember exactly where that's located. You know, some are easier than others, but I played Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Rick and Morty, and I had like a couple. I know, just a casual reference, no big deal. Yes, may she rest in peace. But I had several sentences that she says that I would say and then get into the character so that I didn't mess it up. But generally I find that if you go from the outside in, it's hollow. If you go from the character's heart out, the sound is perfect every time. So if you get to know the character's heart, it rings true to the listener and for you.
Andy, you two gave deep answers. I just went,
I don't know, I like to do voices.
Over here. Hello.
yeah. Awesome over there. Look at that. Awesome.
I'm a little tall, so it's okay.
How can you be a little tall?
I'm vertically blessed. So I'm here with my daughter, and both her and I are very, very obsessed with story. And this question really goes for anyone on the panel, as particularly for the Clone Wars voice actors. Looking at the last couple episodes of the Clone Wars, for me personally, they're like a cinematic masterpiece. It's hard for me to watch them. I end up just studying them. And so kind of with that in mind, what would be one big idea that you guys would recommend, really as advice for me, but also really for my daughter as well? How do you create such a satisfying climax to a story and such a satisfying end of an arc for a character? And as you're thinking about developing a story, what's that one big idea that you constantly should keep coming back to and be obsessed with?
It's a really interesting question to ask actors. And because ultimately an actor is a storyteller. And we diagnose stories, and you have to have a really good sense of that. A variation of that is timing. And that plays out whether you're doing a short scene or doing an entire story and being within it, and from the inside kind of being aware of where that story is going. But in terms of how to configure that as a writer, I don't know. What do you guys? Do you guys write? Are you guys writers? What do you think?
Well, one thing I'll add though, we had the luxury of time. So part of why we were able to reach that epic ending is because we had years of story development. I mean, that's part of why, you know, we feel so deeply for, especially Ahsoka and Rex as new characters in Clone Wars, but even as Anakin and Obi-Wan and, Hera is still newer relatively, but now with the live action series, but we have the benefit of time. And if you only have a 2-hour movie, you're cramming a lot in that 2-hour movie. So sometimes I think, you can't just achieve that heart-wrenching outcome that you want with 2 hours. I mean, you can, but I think, comparing the Clone Wars to maybe like a 2-hour movie, it's like comparing apples to oranges.
And jumping on the time thing real quick, I'll just say this very quickly. Dee and I were with, this is where we name drop, we were with Dave Filoni at Skywalker Ranch in like season 2, we're sitting in the commissary, and Filoni is spelling out all the ideas he had for what became that last. So this is years before he was dreaming it up, he was thinking about it, he was, creating things there, and then fine-tuning it. Then Rebels hits, and he's got to shift. And he's got to take, because now Ahsoka's over here, and Anakin's over here, and Darth Vader's there. And then he shifted it all, but it still came to fruition very close to what he told Dee and I all those years prior. So it's just dreaming about it, seeing it all there.
I find if you return to the dilemma of the story, a dilemma is an unsolvable problem. Luke loves his father. His father, no offense, is pretty deep into a life choice. But how that character relates himself to an unsolvable problem. He approaches his father with mercy and doesn't kill him when he can, but offers him the light. In that moment, that's his heroic moment. How he didn't change his father, but he differently related himself to it, that to me was transcendent and healing. And that moment for me is why that is one of my favorite movies. And I, as a writer, return to what is the dilemma of my story and how does my hero evolve through that, greeting that moment of recognition that the problem is unsolvable, and how are they going to live like a hero beyond that. That, to me, drives me as a storyteller.
I think the best way to learn to tell good stories is to digest good stories, and to read a lot, and to watch a lot of well-written shows.
A lot of Clone Wars, that man.
Yeah, a lot of Clone Wars.
And become familiar with that, both in the short term and then the longer form of the storytelling, but really dig into how others tell stories well. Let's go back over here.
Thank you. And I love your summer costume. Gorgeous.
So my question is, you guys obviously seem to have really good chemistry. Definitely on the show, you can see it and hear it through the voices, but also sitting there, you seem to all get along really well.
We're actors.
When you guys first met each other, were there icebreakers you had to do, or anything like that to get to know each other?
You laughing at?
Yes.
Well, so I was recast as Anakin. The first few episodes were not my voice, but I went back and redubbed them, so yeah, you hear me. But anyway, so they've been recording for at least a few months, maybe. And the first time I walked into the studio, I met Ashley, and I literally think it's probably the first thing she said to me. She was like, Anakin and Ahsoka are not love interests. There's nothing going on between them. It's like brother sister. And I was like, okay, nice to meet you. That was the first introduction to Ashley. She made it very clear.
And we've been brother and sister ever since.
Well, because I think they already knew, and you guys have probably already discussed that. When this comes out, people are gonna want Anakin, so there's gotta be something there, and we really wanted to establish the
Dave
brother
Filoni
sisters.
had been telling me, he was like, people are gonna want to ship this. They're gonna want to ship this, and he goes, there's nothing there. Nothing there.
There's no ship coming in.
There's no. So anyways, I was just trying to impart the wisdom upon Matt.
She did, yeah. I went home and I was like, this girl at work, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to deal with her. She's a tough cookie.
But we've all been to each other's weddings and kids being born, and we've been through a lot together, and that goes back to time. We've just had time together. You're stuck with me, Sky guys. Sky girl.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, big fan. Wondering, I'm a big fan of like what if scenarios. So if you could portray any other character in the Star Wars universe, who do you think it would be? And that's for anyone in the cast that knows the answer.
Tauntaun, I want to be a Tauntaun.
What would that sound like, Dee? Then we cut you open. Then we shove that inside you. Okay.
They smell bad way outside.
Voice actors.
Hey, what else?
Did we answer that question?
Anyone else? No? Can you move it? Anybody right here?
Uncle Owen. I like Uncle Owen. Seems like a lax dude, yeah.
I'll go with a Purgle. That's so good, Matt.
Kind of like, yeah.
But your Wookiee roar is so good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
There's nothing going on.
They will never be in a relationship.
I would be a droid.
Yeah. What would that sound like?
Nice landing, please.
Like that. Beep, boop, beep.
We're here, hello. Hi. So, Clone Wars and Rebels were very dynamic shows where characters were not only, there was a clear passage of time, characters would look older, they would act differently, have different personalities. So, in the same vein as Dee talking about Rex needing cut, were there any moments where you immediately felt like this show has changed, my character has changed?
Mortis arc.
Yeah. Mortis changed it for, I think, everybody in that, really. But I mean, you finally got to go to the dark side, too.
Yeah, that was the first time that I sort of got to play with dark side Anakin a little bit. I still don't really know what happened on Mortis. I call it my favorite arc, but I don't even know.
How many people think it was a dream? No, see? We all think it was real? Yeah. Because the question when we did it was,
But they never talk about
was
it.
it a dream or not, right?
I would say I think it was most conscious for me because Ahsoka was a girl. I mean, she was a teenage girl. She was 14 when the show started. So at the beginning of every season, I would ask Dave Filoni and say, okay, how much has she grown up? Where in my register should my voice live? And so we talked a lot about her age and her maturity. And so we touch base every single season.
I think for Hera it would be when Kanan sacrificed himself. That was...
Wait, I haven't finished watching. What?
Spoiler alert! Although the good news is he has a mullet when he does it. So that kind of cushioned the blow. Although Hera says, I hate your hair. And that was really hard for me to say because I was like, I really love your hair. But anyway, that was a shift for sure for Hera.
Let's go back to this side.
First of all, big fan of like all of you guys.
all are.
This is what it would be like to be in a vocal session with us.
Well, first of all, you guys are iconic, and I'm pretty sure everybody else in the audience is the same way as I do. We love all of you guys, and like, you guys were part of my childhood. I remember growing up on Clone Wars, and like, when it got canceled, I was devastated. And we got more, and still devastated, but it was freaking amazing. But Star Wars has always been so iconic to like cosplayers, and I'm a fashion designer outside of like cosplay and everything, so I draw so much inspiration from film and historical outfits and like everything like that. And I feel like Star Wars to this day is still like pinnacle of fashion design in film, because like if you look back at everything from Padme on the tallest wardrobe to everything that the clones had, it was always so iconic. So my question for you guys is, besides lightsabers and blasters, what would you guys bring from the Star Wars world in here, such as like your clothes or anything that like your character would have used?
Chopper.
What would we bring from the Star Wars universe into our universe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, besides lightsabers and blasters and the obvious stuff that we all want.
Tauntaun. I'd bring a tauntaun.
What would that sound like? Did we do this already? Clearly not the mullet, I think. Yeah.
I will say this, and I talked to Dave Filoni about this too. We never liked Ahsoka's tube top in the beginning. It wasn't practical. Who fights a war in a tube top?
Especially that young, when you don't even have anything to hold it up.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
young girls don't fight in tube tops in war very often.
No, not at all. And so,
There was no reference to go by. What was supposed to do?
well, as soon as Dave Filoni could, he changed her costume. And we were very mindful about, and I should say Dave and the designers, having it be realistic, something you would actually fight in. And I think more and more as he got his way, and here it goes again. As he got his way, she got more and more armor. So for me, I try to, yes, do I love a pair of high heels? Sure. But if I'm walking a full day, give me a comfortable pair of boots. Like if I'm literally fighting the day, then what's most practical? What's most comfortable? So a bag that's like a belt, that you can actually fit stuff in. What's practical? Because I feel like, especially as women, I mean, y'all get this, right? We wear stuff all the time that's not practical. And so yeah, I try to be more practical with my fashion, which Star Wars, I feel like, is practical. Except a tube top in space.
I'd like to have the scuba suits and the rebreathers. I mean, how are rebreathers not a thing yet?
I think we've got time for a couple more questions, but Fan Expo, please correct me if I'm wrong.
They said the show will close in a half hour, right? So there's no panel after this, right?
I'm supposed to see a counter, but I don't see a counter, so we're gonna keep going if that's what you guys.
The show closes in a half hour.
Right here.
Evening, guys. Big fan. So this is more for Dee, Vanessa, and Ashley. No offense, James and Matt. But what were your feelings or general impressions when you three first saw your own characters adapted into live action format?
I think it's great. I mean, any kind of new Star Wars in whatever format, bring it to me. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all fans, so...
Just not of the tube top.
Yes, not of tube top. But we will always celebrate more Star Wars stories.
I feel about it the same way I feel about Mackenzie. Mackenzie, can you come up here?
Oh, there she is.
No, come up. This is a real life Hera too. This is my new bestie. This is Mackenzie. So it feels great.
That is awesome.
All right, we're going over here.
Yeah, so, too close.
like a family. So my question is, when you were recording Clone Wars especially, how many days did you guys goof off so much that little to no work was done? And how frustrated was Dave and the rest of the crew? And then, but circling back with that, how much did it improve the next voiceover session because of how much you bonded, even though no official work was done?
It's a pretty detailed picture that you put there of what actually went down.
Well, to be fair, Dave Filoni would come in for the first half hour and go, okay, we're going to talk about Star Wars. That's my Dave Filoni impression. I thought it was funny, okay. And then he would, for like a half hour, tell us the whole thing and immerse us in it, but kind of goof off too. So he kind of set the standard there for us, so we can't be blamed for this, right?
Well, we also did a lot of events outside of the recording studio. So we got to go to Disney Star Wars weekends. We got to do USO tours.
Yeah.
We would do conventions together. And so doing those events together really bond you. When you get to ride rides and, you know.
We would give each other a bad time for sure. Dee and I would harass Ashley. Do you remember the voices we would do, Dee?
Yeah, we would offer quips in between takes.
Right. She's a Gatano.
And it would slow things down, but it kept things in a jovial spirit.
She's awesome.
One of the greatest things though was Cameron, our engineer,
yes.
kept on file very quickly with a button Ashley's laugh. And it kind of went like this. Anytime, it would be just a moment's notice. We'd hear.
It was really hard because Ahsoka never laughs. Like I would beg Dave to let Ahsoka laugh, and she never laughs. And so I always had to be serious, and these guys would crack me up. And so I'd have to like become serious very quickly as they're doing these voices. And even Matt too. Matt was always really funny.
Yeah, he's funnier than he looks.
I think the most disruptive
Talking about me in the past tense. I'm sitting right here.
Jason Isaacs came to play the Inquisitor, and forgive me if you've heard this. He came in and he opened up a closet. He's like, "My word, it's a miniature golf set or whatever." We were like, "Oh, I think we need to record now, sir."
You know, he pulled out and made an entire miniature golf set in the studio and was doing like mini putt-putt between his takes. And Freddie looked like he was gonna kill him, so it was perfect for the scene. So, you know, he was cat and mousing Freddie with the putt-putt, and all the kids were like, Dad's gonna blow.
But it was some of the best acting work. And I actually said this recently, and Freddie was like, "Oh, I wasn't mad at all." I was like, "Seriously, you looked like you were gonna murder the guy." I mean, but that was probably the biggest departure from work ethic I've ever seen occur, and then have the best work come out of it. He'd never been there before, and we'd been there for like a year and never even realized there was a golf set in the closet. So it was a special session.
Okay, guys, I got worried. We have time for one last question. Sorry, I got this short.
No pressure.
We didn't go short. We actually went longer. But one last question.
Hi, my name is Adelaide. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm like, also, well, my favorite character I have to say is Kylo Ren. I'm a huge Kylo Ren fan, but I basically love almost everything. I do need to finish watching Clone Wars, but I'm a huge Rebels fan. Also, I'm watching Bad Batch. But I am like basically the definition of a nerd. I am in theater, I'm in band, orchestra, all these things. I write like my own stories, I come up with ideas. I have anxiety, so yay. But I just wanted to say, ask a question about how I do want to be an author when I grow up, and maybe would like to see some of my work adapted into film. But I wanted to ask, if I ever end up playing a role, what is the most difficult, well, what is the biggest challenge you face as a voice actor?
Taking questions at Comic-Cons.
Is it that long?
No, I didn't mean that, no. Biggest challenge as a voice actor? Well, it depends. Sometimes it's getting people to actually get past how you look. So I was the voice of Fred Flintstone for many years. And when I first went in for the job, the director literally looked over me and went, "Where's James?" I said, "I'm right here." She's like, "No, we need the guy doing Fred Flintstone." So people will assume a lot, but as a voice actor, you're a character actor. And so you can be whatever your voice will allow you to be. So just remember that, believe that, and hold that dear, and then let it come out. And that hopefully does it for you, but yeah.
I think the most challenging thing is just all the no's that you get. You know, that's sort of the reality of just being an actor in general. Like for every job you get, you see us up here on the stage, we've all gotten way more no's. You know, so just
no's.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, just know. I mean, know that's part of it, and just keep going.
And I just want to say, I love the term nerd. I love the term geek. I embrace it. We are all nerds. We're all geeks, and it's awesome. And I think you are awesome. And you are clearly so bright and so intelligent and have such a bright future. So I'm excited to see what you create. So keep writing, keep creating, and one day we're going to be reading your stories. Thank you. You're so welcome.
Well, I think that is a great note to end on. Dee, Ashley, Matt, James, Vanessa. Thank you guys.
And Mackenzie.
And Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
Thank you guys for being here with us. Thank you guys for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the
Thank you.
Thank you.